So hi, Angela. How are you today?
Hi, Cindy. I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself-ish, give us your little background or whatever you want us to know, all the good juicy secrets about your
Sure.
business.
I'd love to. My name is Angela Holland. I'm the owner and founder of Preferred Dental Services. We are a remote insurance billing company. So we handle submitting claims, posting insurance payment, and working the dreaded insurance AR for our offices.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. And we work nationwide. And I created this practice on my kitchen table back in 2019. And we have just grown exponentially and providing the service to as many practices nationwide that will have us.
Oh my gosh, that's so fantastic. I don't know if you know too much about me, but I came from the insurance background. And that's kind of why I went to high school. One of the reasons, because it's frustrating and it's hard, but if you do it right, it's awesome. It's very rewarding. And I think it's the best thing that you could outsource really. And I love it. So I think I'm really passionate about outsourcing the service because I think
Oh, oh,
it's
I
so
did not know
beneficial to
that
so
you
many
did.
people. I
I did
did,
not know that
yes.
you started in insurance. That's awesome.
I
Yes.
did,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. So
I
you
know
understand
too
the
much about, oh
frustrations.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So you can do it anytime. Yeah, tell us more about you and your business.
Sure. A little more about me. Like I said, I started on my kitchen table, and we now have 15 remote billing specialists that work for Preferred Dental Services. They work remotely and they focus 100% of their time on the practice insurance. I am located in Arizona. My team is located throughout the US. And I moved to Arizona back in 2014 for a job in dental software sales. So I have come kind of went from that to working hands-on in the offices. I then went to a coaching company and did nationwide coaching and consulting. And and I also was an office manager in a local practice here in Mesa, Arizona. And then I started growing my practice because I saw such a need for a company like mine, but one that provides a service that's very hands-on and more of like a small business than a large company, just without the personal touch.
Mhm.
And that was a big thing that I really wanted to provide to this industry.
So you guys work more directly with the offices? So you're
Yes,
kind of like an employee, but you're not. But so you're not like
exactly.
a big
We joined the
clearinghouse.
team.
Okay. Yeah. So and you
Yes,
have people all over, which is great. So because there is different, a little bit different laws and stuff around the nation, but probably not
exactly. Each
not too
state.
much.
Yes. And we're very hands-on. So each office that we work with has one assigned billing specialist. And then they also have direct connection with me, which is huge because these people, I don't want to say they're my clients because they're also my billing specialist clients, but they're my clients and I want to make sure that they're taken care of to my standard. And so I'm CC'd on all emails. I'm very in the loop. I monitor their numbers from month to month. I provide reporting to prove our value. It's a very hands-on feel. It's kind of like shopping at your local, your local grocery store versus the nationwide grocery chain. They have it's just a totally different feel.
Right. And so yeah, it's worth it for that extra touch of personal service and somebody that actually
Exactly.
cares because it's
Yes, and
your
our
business.
prices are totally they're within industry standard. We don't charge anything that's outrageous because I wanted to be able to provide this service that was so greatly needed and at the quality that I'd expect and I'd ask for if I was in the office. So so that way we're able to keep our prices very fair and offer the great service.
That's great. So it sounds like you operate, even though you do remote billing, it sounds like almost a little consulting as well. If you're looking at the numbers and making sure that they're up. So what kind of progress or success are you seeing with practices that have started with you over the
Oh yeah,
years?
great. That's a great question. So because my background in the consulting and coaching aspect, I think that I really enjoy just kind of like you said, it's very fulfilling when you see the rewards of this industry of the billing. So I think that's why I really like to provide that information to my offices, to our offices. And so we provide or we see a lot of different growth tactics with the offices. We see more efficient input information. So a big growth area is that offices prior to us, they're not inputting the proper payer ID or patient date of birth, or they're only putting the patient, not the subscriber's date of birth. There's different things like that. So we're able to help really streamline the process. So one, we make it more efficient from that aspect. Two, we're seeing increase in collections in 100% of our practices. So I can confidently say that if we come into your practice, we will raise your insurance collections. And I guarantee that 100% will raise your insurance.
I bet. And do you think because of the reason, not to talk about me more, but when I was started in doing billing and insurance, it was like an ear, nose, and throat. So it was medical. But I took over the position to somebody else. And all I would find is instead of typing things in the correct way, they just would keep rebilling. Like, well, you keep rebilling the wrong way. And so you're never going to get it collected. I would just go in there, pull the patient's chart, date of birth was probably wrong, something totally off, or they changed insurances. So getting that information right the first time is so important. And it just like made a huge difference, of course, unclogged the lines. But in dentistry,
you hit the nail on the head.
A lot of people are up front and they're trying to input insurance information, answer the phone, check out patients. And so it's not that they're negligent, it's just like your brain can only process so much, and they're trying to do too much at the front desk. And so
absolutely, that's exactly what we see. And truly it's to no fault of anyone's, because not only are they doing a million things in office and dealing with patients standing right in front of them, but there's also no professional training to properly bill insurance. So a lot of these front office personnel are thrown into that role of billing insurance. So yes, so that I see it every day. So not only is that very common that there's no formal training, but it's that they're trying to juggle, 5 or 6 different roles all in one.
Yeah, and if you can outsource this, because this is a huge role, and all the time training and properly training so many different insurance companies with all their different roles, it's just like a full-time game is what I call it. But if they have somebody that knows how to play
right now, yes.
Then so they can focus on
turnover. Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh, no, go ahead. It's your show.
No. We're seeing a lot of staff turnover right now. So there's no turnover time, there's no training, there's no downtime when they onboard us. We truly pick up from wherever the previous person left off, and we've seen it as far back as 3 months. All the way to the current day before. We then go and we clean everything up. We really dive deep, see I don't want to say where they were doing it wrong, but just where the opportunities for improvement were. So we truly join the persons and the office and the owner's team, and we really get in there and change things around for the better while still maintaining the same structures and day-to-day operations. Nothing changes. They're also not paying sick leave. They're not paying PTO. So there's lots of benefits to outsourcing.
Yeah, and it keeps going if somebody at the office, let's say they had a COVID outbreak. I hate to mention the C word, but they're shut down, but you can still keep collecting and working on things, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, during the actual initial shutdown of the pandemic, we continue to operate. We continue to collect for the offices, and so we truly were a huge value to them when they had no patients coming in. They still had money coming in though.
Oh, right. Wow, that extra stuff they needed. Yeah, that's great. So kind of a personal question just amongst us kind of team members. Yeah. With that being said, who usually reaches out to you is more interested? Is it more the doctor owner, or would it be the office manager? I would say myself and other experience with other office managers or front office people, we like to get the mail. We like to open the mail. We like to see the checks. We like to touch the money. We like to input it just because we feel like we're doing something. And so I think that is a really hard thing for some people to give up. I don't know what your experience is with that, or if you're finding any difficulty letting them know you're trying to help them.
Totally. I would say we experience the office manager that doesn't want to give up this role. I would say we experience probably 60% of the time. 40% they're totally on board, can't wait for the backup, need the support, they're begging for help. So for the office managers that are totally on our side from day one, it's a very easy, very smooth transition, and they see our value immediately. For the office managers that are kind of working against us and not quite wanting to give up that position or that obligation of posting the payments, working the claims, things like that, they come around to see our value, and we only have a 90-day contract. So after 90 days, if they're not on board, then at that point I would advise, hey, this isn't the right fit, because we only want to provide a service to offices that are wanting us. We're not here to create havoc in an office. We want to solve problems. So I would say maybe only one or two office managers since 2019 have just not been willing to give up the job, the position, or whatever the pieces that we take over. So we parted ways, but the rest of them truly do end up seeing our value. They jump on board. They realize they have so much more time. And then with our daily emails to them and the reporting, they really like start to feel a part of and see the value and the payoff. Because I totally get it. I've been an office manager, and that seeing the money and posting the payments and seeing that value, it's very fulfilling. That's the fulfilling part.
And we feel like we did all the work, even though we know really
Exactly.
everybody, but look what I did, look what I collected. And sometimes we get the credit for it too. So it's like, you're not going to get that pat on the back, but just think, if you're collecting money, just think how the doctor is going to be in a good mood. And really that's what everybody wants, is a happy doctor that's not over you.
And a lot of office managers and front office and staff are bonused on collections. So we hop in there and we'll post on the last day, if the office manager scans us stuff, we'll post it for that month. We want you guys, we want them to hit goals. Right. That's important to everyone. We're a part of the team. Yes. So we really do strive to show them that we're on their side and we're never against them or trying to take their position in any way. We want them to be able to perform their position at their top speed and top notch.
And it's great that you've been in that position, so you know where they're coming from. It definitely helps. Is everybody, the rest of your team members, or most of them, have they been in a dental office or worked in that position? Or
yes. So all the girls that I do onboard and hire, they have worked in office. It's required for them to be a part of my team. They've worked in office, and they also have a minimum of 5 years insurance billing experience when they join my team. And then I provide continued training for the girls. So we are always up to date with what's changing, what's the new way to get paid on this specific code, what narratives are getting us paid, what narratives are having us send in more information, things like that. So not only are they required to have experience, but the continued education and relationship we have as a team is huge and makes a huge difference, because when you're one person in the office, you're dealing with tons of insurances, you may not get that extra piece of information to be able to submit a claim easier and get paid the first time. Whereas when we have 12 plus 13, 14 women working on that, and we share all these tips and tricks,
yes,
we
huge.
Are operating at top speed.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
Yeah. So not only are they required to have experience, but we continue that experience and education and growth as they work with me. So I have some girls who have been on with me from the first people that I've hired, all the way up to my newest hire, I believe was last month, in the month of November. So these girls really stick with me and grow with me. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Sign. Yeah, and help each other, because you probably learn just as much from them as you're teaching them. So that's great.
I'm telling you, I learn every day, something new every day.
That's what we need, like win over those insurance companies, right? So one other thing too, not to be accusatory or whatever to people, but embezzlement too. They say a lot of people that don't want to give up the money. Most of the time it's good in the sense like us, we just want to see it and be in control-ish. But embezzlement, I see that's one of the signs of that too. If somebody doesn't want to let anybody get the mail or share the posting of the payments, things like that. Just that is something to watch out for if you're trying to outsource and you have somebody that's really fighting.
And it's a huge red flag if there's just zero cooperation. So I would say that the more uptight that someone is when we come on, the more red flags it would raise, and the more digging we would do. But I've seen some embezzlement concerns a couple of times since taking on these offices. But when I did the practice management coaching, I saw it quite a bit. So it truly is a real concern, and the doctor should always want to be, or the owner should always want to be included on our daily reporting, is what I encourage, because they're able to see what money's coming in and what money's getting posted. So not only do we negate the embezzlement possibilities of any sort of insurance money, we're also able to show where their practice should be. So had there been some issues in the past, they may be able to see those through our findings.
Right. Great. And then, sorry, do you send a report, you said, every day to the doctor? How does that, or to the office? How does, like, a
Yes,
daily
we send
report?
email, daily report, anything that we post, any patients with account balances. So the insurance, or so the office, front office gals know to bill the patient. We do patient collections as well, but it's an additional service. It's not included in the typical billing package. And I will say that most of our offices prefer to bill their patients independently because they're able to write off any family balances or any specific case-specific balances that we wouldn't know as a third party unless they told us, unless they confirmed that with
Yeah,
us.
because
So I
it is
think
a
it's
personal
smoother.
thing when it comes to billing,
Yeah.
and you could lose a lot of patients that way if you, even if it's a friend or family member. So,
Exactly. And we always put a note into each patient's account as to where that balance is coming from. So, x-ray denied due to frequency, buildup denied due to frequency, things like that. So we let them know.
yes.
And then anything that comes in that's denied, not due to frequency or not a covered benefit, we absolutely will appeal it. So not only are we working that AR, but if something comes in, we're not just closing that claim. We're going to work it. We want to get paid.
Heck
We
yeah.
want to get the office paid.
Oh,
So
that's what makes it kind of fun. Like,
exactly. So whenever those claims come in, we're working those as well.
oh, that's fantastic. And because people up front, like you said, they're short staffed already. It takes so much time to be able to fight that. Sometimes you're just like on with the next problem. And so you just let that money go or write it off or send it to collections and never get it or get 50%. So to do this up front, to put things in right, to collect the patient portion up front, whatever you could do there really shouldn't be anything going to collections unless it was a fluke, right? Like if you could
Love it.
prepare up front, but it's having the time and somebody like you and your services. So besides collections and insurance, so you do post payments and stuff like that, but you don't actually, do they bill the actual insurance probably from their software? And that leads me to what softwares do you work with? Kind of
So
limitation.
yes, so we gain remote access to the office's either server or a desktop that's not used. And we log in on a daily basis. We submit claims, we post insurance payments, and we work the insurance AR on a daily basis. So the billing specialist is operating within 24 hours of each task being completed. So today is Tuesday?
I don't know. It's Monday. It's Monday.
Today is Monday. So Monday's claims go out on Tuesday, unless otherwise specified by the office. So then once we gain that remote access, we handle everything as far as insurance billing goes and posting of the payments.
So if there was a glitch or something, you'd catch that too and fix that, or have them bring it to their attention, have them get whatever information that they need.
Exactly, yes. And then whenever the insurance payments come in, if they're EFTs, we log in and we post those EFTs. If they are not EFTs or direct deposit, and there's something that's being mailed or faxed to the office, we set up a scan folder on the office's desktop or server, and the in-office gals will scan those to us. It's in a HIPAA compliant manner, so we're not emailing, information back and forth. Yeah. And and then once we complete posting those, we would send out a daily email saying, hey, we posted X amount of dollars, checks are good for deposit, or virtual credit cards are okay to be ran, whatever the office accepts. And we work with, technically, I think we could work with most softwares, but the most common that we see and the softwares that I have, experts working in is Open Dental, EagleSoft, Dentrix, and we do have some girls that know SoftDent, but I would say that software is fading very quickly as far as what we're seeing. But Open Dental, I would say, is the most common nowadays.
I love Open Dental. They're here in Oregon too. So
yes,
I drive by there all the time when I'm going down to Taylor.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. And then, have you ever worked with Curve? That's like one.
Curve, yes.
I tried doing remote billing for them. It was different, not because of Curve, but because of me.
Yes,
So.
no, I have some girls that know Curve. It's just not, I just don't see that we see it often.
Right. So it's not, you stick with the big ones just because that's what most people have, but then you could probably learn anyone if you needed to.
Absolutely. My
sure.
girls are, they're great. I have some girls that truly specialize in the software specifically. Wow. Some of them have been software trainers, different things. So there's some girls that are just really fluent with different softwares.
Do you find yourself stepping out of your specialty sometimes because of that? Or do you have to rein yourself in and be like, okay, this is what we do? Because there's so many things that I bet you guys could do, all these office managers with all this experience. I mean, that's awesome. But do you like, okay, we're just sticking to insurance, this stuff, and because that's a lot in itself.
Yes, we do offer credentialing as well.
Oh, that's huge.
Yes, and setting them up properly and most efficiently and most and properly with fee schedules and all of that. However, aside from those two, the insurance billing aspect and credentialing, I really don't stray off, although I would love to, because it would be a change of pace. Because we're experts in this. So I know that the service that is being provided is up to my standard and what I would want to provide to a family member or to myself, things like that. So I really like to stick with what I know and what we are experts in. That way things are clean, they're simple, and I know that everything's up to par.
Right. And you do have the growth later if you wanted to expand. It's always,
that's right. Yeah.
You have it already with your name. I'm like a planner, so that's also something you have room to expand if you want to or if you need to. But where you're at now is great and such a great needed service. So I'm super excited
a big thing for me is I like to keep the girls working for me in the United States for no reason other than language barriers, timing differances. I really want to keep things efficient because what I've
since you don't even know if it's Tuesday or Monday, so just imagine adding hours into that.
I know.
East Coast is hard enough.
I have in my office, I have all the time zones so that I know exactly what time because it's constant. But I just always want to make sure that the service being provided is up to what the office is expecting. And I find that for the companies that have outsourced to other countries, it's just not as efficient. And so that's where.
Yeah, there's going to be a barrier, like no matter how you try, not to say there is, there's always going to be some, a little bit more difficult to communication.
Exactly. I'm not against it. I just,
of course,
I know it's hard when we call an insurance company doesn't have, US based representatives on the phone. It's very difficult.
I feel bad for them too, because it's frustrating enough. It's frustrating for them. It's like, oh my gosh.
I know, it's so true. Yeah. So I think that, providing services based in the US is huge for us as well.
Well, I think always try that first if we can. And then, so not, I mean, I'm definitely not, whatever, but do you hire boys too? So usually I don't.
Yeah.
My girls.
So I'm totally up to hiring men. I did have one guy that worked for me for a little while. He ended up just going back into an office to work full time. However, when I started my company, the reason that I started it was, one, I saw a need for this service in the industry at the scale that I can provide it with customer service that I feel I can provide. And the second thing was I really wanted to start my family and I wanted to be able to work from home. That was huge for me. So I really, of course, I would hire men. That's not a problem. However, I really value and really seek value in hiring women who are looking for the same thing that I was looking for. I want someone who's excited to work from home, who appreciates the ability to be able to work from home, because I feel that when it's not just a given, that people really are grateful and they feel that, they have this opportunity and they really take advantage of the amazing opportunity being provided.
I wish I could have worked from home maybe when my kids were young, because it's so hard, and going through that, being a young mother and trying to work and balance things. And now, I mean, that's one good thing that's happened too. A lot of good things have happened, and they understand the value of saying it's okay, you can work from home and things can work out great. And then you can have your baby and work too. And whatever
it's
you need.
Totally doing two full-time jobs, but it's worth it. Yeah.
It is.
And I just know a lot of women that, all the girls that work for me, I know that they appreciate that value. And so I like to be able to provide that to the women. I think that's huge.
I think that's fantastic as well. So that's great. So you've been going since 2019, which was a lot of good growth. And so do you see yourself growing even more? Are you hiring
Heck
more?
yes.
Like everybody, are you
Yes.
hiring more remote people? Do you want to put a shout out right now
Yes.
or what?
Hiring, hiring,
Wow.
hiring. I'm always hiring. And let me specify, I'm hiring rock stars. I do not want women who don't want to work, who
Oh,
aren't excited to do this. This job is fun, it's fulfilling. You get to create a lifestyle that you want, balance of work and life, and that's super important. You could be a billing specialist for one office, or you could take on as many as you can handle. You're in control of your income. So yes, I'm always hiring rock stars, and we are always taking on new offices. My goal is to provide my service as is to these practices nationwide, as many offices as will have us, because I know the value. I know what I'm providing is needed. It's best for the practice. I just had a doctor today who he's a new owner. He had us in to kind of clean stuff up, and he just sent me an email that he's going to be taking things in-house. And I have to be honest with you, I had to advise him, genuinely, it's not the right thing for him. And I would encourage him to meet with a consultant to discuss. I would encourage, because truly I felt the need to educate him as a new owner, as where he's headed,
mm.
now taking it in-house with a team who's not prepared to do
So
this
he's a new
task.
owner. So he thinks he's going to save money, which if you look at it right there, you're like, oh, this is costing me. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is the last place you want to save money. Like,
Exactly.
and you're saying
And
you are saving the money. Yeah, for sure. They don't
yes,
understand until they see their
no, yes. So,
elections are going to.
I think, and I hope he'll stay on with us, but that's the big thing, is for these owners and these doctors and dentists, this is our niche. We are billing gurus. That's what we do all day. I
Mhm.
would never try to do dental work on a patient.
Yes.
Why have the dentist try and do the billing? It
Or
just
train
doesn't make
somebody.
sense.
Yeah, train somebody to do it.
Yes.
And I'm sure
So,
they'll get by for a while, but then at
oh
the same
yeah,
time, let it, if he needs to try and do it, and it will take maybe
exactly.
90 days, and
You said
they'll
it.
see the
Yep.
value, but you still want them to
Yep.
have to go through that. But sometimes that's how we learn, unfortunately. Him,
Totally.
them
We're
are
always
included.
here. Yeah, I'm here if you ever needed us, or hopefully
Yeah.
he'll decide not to leave us. But that's the beauty, is there's no long-term contract with us. Like I said in the beginning, it's a 90-day commitment,
Okay.
because we want to prove our value. After that 90 days, it's month to month. They can cancel with 14 days notice. Because we want people that want to work with us. I never want someone to feel trapped. I never want someone to feel that we're not providing value. And so it's really important that, the offices know there's no long-term commitment to try and outsourcing with us. It's a see value, stay on type of deal.
Yeah, and that way it keeps you on your toes too. Because even though you love it and you're passionate, even if you're thinking about like, it keeps you going
Yes.
too,
And
because you
keeps
have
my girls on their toes
it
too,
keeps
the
your girls
billing
on their
specialists.
toes. Like you don't do a good job, you
They're
don't
very
get paid. You
pleasant.
lose your clients. It's like they're, like you said, it's
Yes.
kind of like their own business too. So
Exactly. And they treat it as their own business, and they create relationships with the office managers different than my own to them. I mean, they're in the trenches, and they're dealing with those women and men office managers on a daily basis. And that relationship's huge. So if for any reason the office didn't see value in us, they could leave at any time.
yeah, I love that. And that's why some people are afraid to start services, because you see that there's such a commitment that you're like, oh,
Yes.
I've been trapped too many times, or you forget to cancel. So,
Yes,
back
exactly.
to the hiring. Are you hiring people around the United States then, or is there certain states you're looking for, or
Yes.
full
I
time,
hire
part time?
nationwide, any time zone you're working. I'm looking for people. You must have a minimum of 5 years dental insurance billing. And you must be a go-getter and self-driven, because working from home is still working. It is
It's hard. It's
hard
hard.
work.
The
It's
dishes are
hard
calling
to
me right
get
now, but I'm
motivated.
not going.
Exactly.
No, no.
Exactly.
It's more like the
It's
dog.
hard work when no one's holding you accountable, type of thing.
Hmm.
So the women that work for me, they're 1099 contractors. It is a privilege for them to have an office, and that office could be reassigned at any time if there's no performance and things like that. So I don't say that to scare anyone away from applying. I only want people that are enthusiastic and ready to work, because it's a job.
Oh yeah, and being 1099, it is their own business, because so that
Totally.
gives them more accountability, and
Yep.
so they get a lot of benefits with that as well. I know there's a whole nother side of that, but there's a whole
Exactly.
benefit side to that too. So you need a
Yes,
go-getter and somebody that wants to have a business, really. And
absolutely.
so with that, do you match people? Let's say you have 5 girls that do this and you have 5 offices. Do you just whoever has openings, or do you try to match? I know it's getting pretty detailed, but personality, because there's going to be clashes with different personalities too,
I
that might
do.
not mesh, or
Yes. So that's part of what we provide that's different than these larger, a much larger scale enterprise style insurance billing is I
Mhm.
personally am choosing the billing specialist and assigning them to the practice, whether it be the doctor that I'm connecting with at first or the office manager or both. I assign that billing specialist, one, based on software knowledge. They must know the software, there's no downtime. And two, they must be accepting new offices. But the personality of the insurance billing specialist is huge with the office manager or whoever our point of contact is, because we want to make sure that that office manager is feeling secure and confident and knows that they're working with someone who's compatible for their team as well. That being said, all my girls are really wonderful. I have an amazing team. It has not always been, there's been some learning along the way.
Well, yeah,
But
especially with
the women,
yeah,
totally. But the
especially with
women
office
that I have,
managers and insurance billers. Sorry, I said it. No.
but the women that I have on board, they really are easy to work with, easy to get along with, and they know that they are joining the team. They're not the team leader, so that's a huge value with these women.
Yeah, they're there like an assistant to the office manager. So if anything, they
Exactly.
should be like, I got somebody to help me with the billing. And so now I can have this
Exactly.
other person help me with other things, or help the office with other things. And
Yes.
yeah, and then you interview the businesses, so you get to know the personality of the doctor. So you already know the girls that are working with you, so you know how to match them up fast. Okay,
Yes.
so I do have to be fair. So since I mentioned embezzlement with ops managers and insurance billers, on your side, how are you protected? If I were to hire you to do my billing, how would I know that you're not going to take my money and
So
run?
no money ever leaves the practice's site, fingers, touch, anything. So EFTs, we do not have any access to office bank accounts. So there would never be the need for us to know the bank accounting information. And then all checks and virtual credit cards are going to the practice directly. So they're scanned to us. So there's basically there's the office calculations of what's totaled, and then our posting should always match. So everything's always accounted for.
Okay, so you're kind of doing data entry and the checks go directly into the
Exactly.
account,
Yes,
which is great for you too.
exactly.
So, okay, I know we're on a time frame here. So how do we find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you and
Yes.
find out more information?
So perfect. So we are preferreddentalservice.com. And my name is Angela Holland, and my direct email is on my website, info@preferreddentalservice.com. And my cell phone is actually who you'll be calling or what you'll be calling if you go to my website. My cell phone is 302-236-8856. So take it and call me, text me.
You take text,
I want to provide the service to you, and I feel that it's 2021, almost 22. If you text me, I'll answer. If you call me, I'll answer. I always have my cell.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, why not? So could you pop up your screen just a little bit so we can see the sign? I can see what it
Sure.
says, but I love that.
Yeah.
Yay,
Thank
there it
you.
is right there, Preferred Dental Services. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Angela, and hope to talk to you again soon. And we'll make sure that we put all the information on the show notes too, as far as
Thank you,
how
Sydney.
to
You're
get a hold of
wonderful.
you. Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.